Desde tiempos remotos, inclusive más atrás de lo que nos hemos permitido saber, la ciencia ha formado parte fundamental del proceso de crecimiento tecnológico y humanístico que hoy en día estamos experimentando. La ciencia ha fungido como herramienta por aproximación para poder explicar nuestra realidad. Además, nuevas formas de pensamiento han emanado al descubrir la existencia de distintas dimensiones o densidades dentro de nuestros universos o distintos niveles de frecuencia y vibración en la materia. Por otro lado, la ciencia moderna no ha logrado satisfacer todas las necesidades espirituales de un gran sector de la población mundial. Y dirás, ¿y cómo compruebas que existe eso? Bueno, por ende la metafísica ha suplantado a la raquítica pero todavía vigente teología para darle mayor veracidad a aquellos eventos o fenómenos que no se pueden explicar de manera convencional a través de la ciencia moderna positivista. Existe un fenómeno interesante porque involucra la ética, y es que es en el modo en que aplicamos la ciencia en nuestra sociedad. El rezago social por la privatización de la ciencia ha hecho que exista una brecha importante de desigualdad en oportunidades de crecimiento económico, dada la escasez de innovación tecnológica en todo el mundo y su falta de acceso a la información. También cabe destacar aquellas instituciones gubernamentales que nos han prometido un futuro mejor son precisamente aquellas que financian proyectos de eugenesia o darwinismo social a través de las universidades, que a su vez crean científicos de élite adoctrinados bajo una línea específica para que desarrollen sus innovaciones en aras del beneficio privado y dejando a un lado el beneficio social. Existe una agenda oscura, métetelo a la cabeza, existe una agenda oscura que oculta la ciencia moderna desde su aislamiento del racionalismo o el uso de la filosofía o parte de la intuición para las aplicaciones éticas, qué es lo bueno y qué es lo malo, y el debate, ¿no? Si decíamos que si la ciencia era éticamente neutra o cuál era el detalle en esa situación. El último propósito es mantener el control sobre las masas ignorantes para prolongar este periodo de esclavitud mental a través de nuevos instrumentos de manipulación climática, sanitaria, financiera, dependencia tecnológica, etc. Lo hemos experimentado en los últimos 10 años. Hay que despertar en ese sentido, ¿no?
We just found another top professor of bioethics that they decide in the last 20 years they don't have Hippocratic oaths anymore in the West of doctors that do no harm. Now these bioethicists like Peter Singer and others say, no, just kill children, kill old people. The government should be able to decide. Drug the water. Well, Oxford professor calls for mass drugging population through water supply. Suggest, and then we have links to government studies where they want to put lithium and Prozac in the water, and we have links to Fox News promoting lithium to be put in the water, and the Japanese government's looking at it. I mean, this is a long 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-page article with every line hyperlinks to government documents. In a 2008 paper titled Fluoride and the Future Population Level Cognitive Enhancement, that's their spin, bioethics professor Julian Savalescu claims that water fluoridation may be the key to future of humanity. He argues that fluoridation may not merely be about tooth decay, but the drive to be better. Oh, remember that weird federal study that they had on CBS News where they said mercury containing drugs is actually good for your child's brain? Cue it up. Mercury good for you, please. It's in the computer. People won't believe that. CBS News. Oh, the government says, Journal of Pediatrics, that mercury's good for you. Drugging the population's water supply, he claims, is a form of enhancement that can pave the way for the future of mental abilities and other functions could be improved with drugs. I got news. They've had study after study, including AP 2 years ago, hundreds of major water supplies, the top 100-plus cities, you can pull it up, where they found levels of Prozac and birth control and other drugs many times higher than it could possibly be there from sewage runoff.
¿Cómo es que hemos de cambiar el rumbo de la ciencia? Pues una vez Einstein ha mencionado que la Cuarta Guerra Mundial sería con palos y piedras, y sin duda es un pronóstico nada alentador ante un panorama de inestabilidad política y económica que vivimos hoy en día. Al parecer no nos hemos dado cuenta que el común denominador de nuestras desgracias a lo largo de la historia de la humanidad ha sido el no poder, en primer lugar, comprender el paradigma vigente, esta ente de factores, variables, situaciones, etc. En segundo lugar, estudiar alternativas de cambio al paradigma, porque seguimos topándonos con el mismo problema una tras otra, y no experimentamos una nueva forma de ver y de pensar las cosas. Y en tercer lugar, aislar el nuevo paradigma para no crear dependencia entre sus factores. El paradigma de hoy es que existe pobreza por la desigualdad social provocada por un mal funcionamiento de los mercados basados en un sistema monetario internacional, y hemos creado una dependencia en el uso de recursos energéticos no renovables y una latente falta de educación en el mundo. ¿Qué es lo que pasa con nuestro mundo entonces?
Used to be called the Hegelian dialectic, and I thought problem, reaction, solution would sum it up more succinctly. What it means is that you want to change society in a way that if you did it openly and had a meeting and said, right, well, tell the public this is what we're going to do, you know that you would get a massive public reaction against what you want. So you don't do it openly. You play this technique. Stage one, you create a problem. It could be a terrorist attack, it could be a war, it could be a government collapse, it could be a run on a currency, it could be a credit crunch, rising food prices, rising mortgages. Anything that will give you the opportunity to install the solution to that problem that will advance your agenda. Once you've covertly created the problem, you then tell the people through a pathetic mainstream media the version of that problem that you want the public to believe, i.e. Bin Laden orchestrated 9/11, Lee Harvey Oswald killed Kennedy, whatever. If we had a journalistic profession, even just in any way justifying the name, problem, reaction, solution fall down, because the explanation would be investigated, it would be found to be wanting, it would be reported to the people, this would collapse. Because we don't have a journalistic profession worthy of the name, the problem's created, the cover story of the problem is then reported to the people as official history, uninvestigated, and what they're looking for at stage two is a reaction from the public that says, in effect, something must be done, what are they going to do about it? Fear, outrage, do something. And then those who covertly created the problem, got the public reaction, do something, then openly, through changes in legislation, offer the solutions to the problems they have themselves covertly created. And what are those solutions? They are changes in society to advance the Orwellian Big Brother state.
¿Por qué no aplicamos la ciencia para el beneficio de todos? No se necesita ser un genio como para ver las tendencias en el último siglo sobre el crecimiento de corporaciones en el mundo y su relación directa con el crecimiento de la pobreza. Habría unos cuantos economistas que dirían que los países han tenido mayor riqueza y que la clase media ha crecido notablemente gracias al esfuerzo de la inversión extranjera directa, etc. Y están en la razón, en parte, pero no dicen que la clase media ha sido debilitado por su poder adquisitivo de compra y que hoy ganan menos que hace 10 años. Eso es una realidad, tienes que verlo.
I'm project director of the Venus Project in Venus, Florida. Politics was good 100 years ago. Today, politicians have no ability to solve any problems because they're not students of behavior, they're not students of agriculture, oceanography, they know nothing about the factors that operate the world. So they say things that people like to hear, and that gets them elected. Now, scientists, on the other hand, are not concerned with public approval. what they do, even if everybody on Earth believed the Earth was flat, they would say, you're wrong, this is the evidence we have to support the fact that the Earth is round. But they don't say, it's a little round, a little flat. That's politicians.
Es hora de cambiar el paradigma y no volver a cometer los errores del pasado, porque por lo que he visto, realmente tenemos que cambiar para poder progresar en este planeta. No podemos seguir con las mismas instituciones, no podemos seguir con la misma ciencia, no podemos seguir con las mismas religiones, no podemos seguir con los mismos políticos, no podemos seguir con las mismas economías.
People at the present time experience some form of challenge or limitation coming into their life, as many of the structures, the external structures in the world, are becoming shaky, and some have collapsed already. As you may remember from A New Earth, I speak about the collapse of Soviet communism, which nobody could have predicted. And I speak of the impending collapse of many of the structures that are ego-based, that are an external reflection of an inner state of consciousness, that is the ego. And those structures, which of course includes financial structures and so on, are now beginning to collapse. And something totally new will arise. How long this collapse will take, I cannot say. But everybody can clearly see, and even the experts are talking about systemic, I hear this word on the radio, a systemic crisis or something like that. In other words, the crisis is not to do with this or that on the surface of things, but concerns the very structure of these organizations. In the same sense that the human mind, the problems of the human mind have not to do with content of whatever is the content of your mind, but the very structure of the mind, the human mind, that needs to change.